Okay, at the risk of sounding like I'm ripping off Rick Beato's "What Makes This Song Great" concept, the idea behind this video is more about how to, trying to just talk about what makes the greatest improvisers great. We spend a lot of time when we're learning about playing jazz in particular, but you can apply this to any genre. When you're improvising, there's all this sort of harmonic and melodic conceptual stuff that we talk about. What scales do you use? What modes are you going to play? What are the chord tones of the chord sequence? What substitutions are you going to use? What rhythmic groupings are you going to use even? So there's like this huge kind of textbook of stuff that you're supposed to get your head around when you're learning to improvise. So what I've done is it's got like 4 different examples of some of the world's greatest improvisers. I've got 2 guitarists, 1 pianist and 1 sax player. So we've got John Scofield, Wes Montgomery, Herbie Hancock and Michael Brecker. So, some of the world's finest improvisers. So with Wes Montgomery's playing here, what we hear is really strong melodic phrasing. He's playing quite a lot of blues and bebop vocabulary. Strong sense of rhythmic structure there. He's making statements and he's rounding off his ideas. He's saying that I'm giving you this musical sentence, and then I'm finishing, and then I'm going to give you another idea which follows on from that previous one. And also, his rhythmic flow in general is just very natural. He's telling you a story. John Scofield, we've got a slightly different vocabulary. He's playing quite melodically for the beginning of this solo, but he's making very short little statements. So he's giving the listener space to absorb what he's saying. And even when he does step out into sort of some outside notes, which is very common for Scofield, he's still kind of got that same rhythmic direction to it. It's got this same rhythmic, it's the same rhythmic language, small little phrases. He then goes on and plays some sort of faster stuff. And with that fast lick that he plays there, his pocket, for want of a better phrase, is amazing. I certainly find when trying to play double time runs like that, it's very easy for the wheels to start coming off rhythmically if you're not careful. Even though Scofield wouldn't call himself a fast player, when he plays fast, it's always delivered with rhythmic confidence. I think that's the key thing here. Okay, so we're on to my hero, Michael Brecker. Again, we get very typical. We all know what Brecker was capable of from a technical point of view and a harmonic point of view. But if we listen particularly to the way he comes to the end of this section with that descending little, it's a pattern that he's moving, symmetrical thing that he's moving into different keys, descending. But it would be very easy to play something like that and not deliver it in a confident way, not give it, again, a rhythmic strength, and therefore make it less convincing for the listener, I think. Okay, so our last example is Herbie Hancock, and this is on his tune Actual Proof, which was from the Thrust album. And this is it's a relatively recent, probably within the last 10 or 15 years. And right away, Herbie's playing very, very freely from a harmonic point of view. I mean, he's really taking us to places that, I wouldn't really be able to analyse what he's doing just by ear. I'd have to, transcribe it all and work out, see if I can work out what he's doing. Or it may be that he's not doing anything conscious at all, and he's just literally playing free, playing what's coming from his ear and his soul. But why does it work? Again, it comes down to this thing where he's playing with this incredible sense of direction and rhythmic strength and rhythmic confidence. And I guess the other thing that this leads to is that I really get the sense that he's truly hearing everything that he's playing. Is a thing that all improvisers should actually do. Is when you're improvising, you really should try and sing what you're playing. You don't need to necessarily verbalise it, although it can help. I've certainly found when I've worked on my improvising and I've tried to I've tried to practice singing what I'm playing, I think my playing has it sounds much more convincing. And even if I'm playing something that's harmonically or rhythmically kind of straightforward, nothing particularly clever about it, it has a real sense of kind of security about it, because the ideas are coming from within. I guess that's the way that the way that you could put it. So I would urge you, if you're looking to improve your improvising, think about some of the things that we've talked about here. We've talked about having a strong rhythmic sense of how your phrases are going to go, where they're going to start and where they're going to end. Make sure you do play phrases and not just endlessly play. Think about, I think I might have talked about before, starting your phrases on weird beats. Think, record yourself and think, I always start on the and of two. That was a thing that I still sort of do a lot now, but I found when I analysed this in the past that I was often starting my phrases on the end of two. Maybe it was the end of one. But anyway, it was almost like I wouldn't play on the one. I'd always wait for the first beat. So try and practice starting your phrases on different beats. All 4 beats if you're in 4/4, and then the and of those, and then the second 16th and the fourth 16th, or whatever. And of course, you try the singing your musical lines approach. You should find you have some success, and you may well find that what you come up with makes much more musical sense and sounds much more convincing. So good luck with all of that.